It's not how I will ever be.
You can't miss the fact that someone's like white, black, Asian. You can't miss that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. Growing up as a kid, I had a lot of like white friends, and now that it's a little more diverse where I went to high school, I really enjoy that.
You can think of this kind of as a crayon box, that you just don't have two colors. You have so many of them, and when you put them together, it can create a rainbow.
Biracial, multiracial people are standing up for themselves and saying, hey, I cannot just check black or white. This does not make sense to me.
I am mixed race. I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm not Asian, I'm not Latina. I'm mixed. You know, you need to allow me to identify with both of them. Don't think you can put me in a box.
If we just like broaden their minds about just different people, and you know, and to not just like see people as like race and ethnicity, but to see them as like a person just like them, I think we can get rid of a lot of these like stereotypes.
I think that with like a change in anything, it's just kind of shocking. Like if something, you know, it was different, and that's why it just was like, ah. But I feel like it's more common, so people are just like more accepting of it.
As more people identify as multiracial, biracial, means that there's, you know, two cultures or more coming together, different languages, different people. For my family, it was two different cultures, two different languages, two different religions, you know, two different regions of the world.
When you have all of those things together, it just makes it so much better in different ways. You have pros and cons for each one, and I think that we can view it in a light where it's different and it's changing, and I mean, it's just like our economy's changing, I mean, our race is changing, everything's just changing, and I think change is good.
I want a world where we no longer judge a person by the color of their skin, the length of their hair, the shape of their body, or the money in their pocketbook. A world where Ricky Martin can stay Ricky Morales. Erykah Badu can stay Erica Wright. Jon Stewart can stay John Leibowitz. Dean Cain can stay Dean Tanaka. And Martin Sheen can stay Ramon Estevez. A world where commercial appeal no longer requires making one's name sound more or less ethnic.
Don't let people put you into, you know, a little square box with, you know, multiracial labeled on it, because that's not all you are.
Americans are going to have to realize that we're all mixed up, like that we're all mixed people. Just because you can physically see it in my parents doesn't mean that I'm any more mixed than you are.
These multiracial people, they're really nice to everyone.
They are paving the way for just, you know, people of color, you know, to say that you guys can do great things too, and, you know, you don't have to become like the negative stereotypes, and, you know, they could be heroes, they can be role models.
All I can say is I love being black and white. It's the coolest thing ever. I mean, everyone should try it, honestly, if they could. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or smart or anything, but it's really cool to have two pretty different sets of families.
I kind of consider people who just claim their black side, it's your cop-out. You know, you really are. I mean, at the end of the day, you really, like, why would you deny half of your blood?
It's an opportunity for, like, us to take advantage of not being able to look at someone and be able to say, oh, this is what you are.
That's not crazy rules.
You were taking her to look at it.
It's really important that we have this dialogue about race, and that we, no matter the consequence, put ourselves in this position to be vulnerable and uncomfortable, because I think unless we do those two things, we're not going to progress.
Like anything, if it's kept, you know, hush-hush, like, ooh, let's just not go there. Let's just not talk about it. Let's not acknowledge it. No one learns anything from it.
And that they're different. It's different from just being categorized as black or white. It's a different categorization in itself that needs recognition.
Definitely people of color need to be able to make themselves vulnerable at times, and because that's like really the only way white folks are going to learn about race.
It's something like people need to learn about, and I mean, if they have a friend or, you know, anyone of mixed race, just if you have questions, just ask.
I would just tell them to be confident in who you are, and that you're obviously different than a lot of people in the world. You're not just one thing, you're two things, or three things, or four things. I mean, you're many things.
It's really just a matter of people like putting themselves out there. And if you're really curious, don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, if you're confused about something,
That's going to have a big impact, a positive impact on race relations, because people are starting to classify themselves more specifically, and it's almost, I mean, I guess I don't think it's a division amongst one another. I think it's more so of like racial pride, which is good.
I think white people a lot of times forget that they have a race too. I mean, I know the entire race system is, you know, constructed socially, but when people, especially white people, think about race, they never think about themselves.
otherwise you're going to make something up in your head that could be obvious. It's just an assumption.
People don't see me as half white, people see me as black.
Richard Dyer says whiteness is both a visible system of privilege and an invisible regime of power. He says, quote, "White people tend to see themselves as unmarked or unspecified. As such, whiteness largely remains unseen, operating as a position from which a dominant social group can survey and control other races."
100 years ago, you know, it may have been a negative thing to be Jewish or Irish or something like that, but then that's the majority of the white population today is a mixing then.
If I grew up somewhere where it was really like race was a big issue, of course I'd have identity issues, but my mom made it evident to me that that stuff doesn't matter.
Someone told me recently that the word Caucasian, like some scientist or whatever, thought the skulls in the Caucasus Mountains were the most beautiful skulls he's ever seen.
Don't let people put you in a box, that's all I'd have to say. Don't let your race be everything to who you are.
You should be proud and be confident and strong about who you are and what you're doing, and I think that it starts with your parents. I think that if your parents are, you know, are able to explain to you who you are and, you know, what your life has been like and, you know, how in their lives have affected your life, that, you know, you just got to be confident in what you're talking about and know what you're saying.
I can experience both. Like, I'm not Hindu or Muslim, and I'm barely Christian, but I can, like, I'll do Muslim things with my Muslim side of the family, and, you know, Hindu things with my Hindu side of the family, so it's great.
I am a mixed person. I'm not totally black or totally white, so that's what I am.
This program was made possible in part by the continuing contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.